Afternoon, Dominic, and thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
First and foremost, welcome to the Costs and Litigation Funding team at Clarion. You're going to be helping us with training and our webinars and seminars, and also acting as advisors of the team. So delighted to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're someone who's always got their finger on the pulse. You always seem to know what's going on in terms of costs and funding reforms. I just wanted to ask you what your top 5 predictions are for this year, for 2021.
Absolutely nap top of pile is a judicial attempt to coerce parties into mediating. We have a new master of the rolls, Lord Justice Voss, and he's mad keen on ADR, and that is a done deal. And he wrote an essay in his introduction to the current White Book saying the time has come to review, to change. So that is a certainty, I think. Incidentally, he's also concerned about the volume of Part 36 decisions. Although if you start to rewrite Part 36, then you just create new problems. So I'm not sure that that's actually going to happen. We know for certain that new guideline rates are going to be in place by the end of this year. That's important. They've not been looked at since, not been revised since 2010. The senior cost judge made an interesting throwaway remark in December that proportionality hasn't worked out as people thought. And therefore, I think there's going to be more demand for yet another change, which is, of course, the implementation of fixed costs. Because with fixed costs, we don't need to think about proportionality. Whatever the rules say is the appropriate figure, is the figure, and that must have built into it proportionality. So that's how I see that one panning out. We've got witness statement reforms coming in April. That is going to be massive in all business and property courts. And I say it's going to be massive because the duty placed upon the solicitor is greater than anything ever known before. So much more prep, much more caution, a real urge, an obligation to be on the straight and narrow. That's going to up costs, I think, significantly. So that's sort of my instant sort of review of the landscape. Fixed costs, by the way, I don't see coming until at this stage, October 2022. We need to have a full response from the MOJ. We need draft rules. We need to finalize figures. It's a massive undertaking. So if they don't move on that soon, it will then be 2023. And that's my take. Yeah. What about you?
Before I just touch on my kind of top prediction for this year, just to touch on a couple of points you said there. Proportionality, that's really interesting to hear. Just thinking back, we did have a real flurry of cases around the new test of proportionality, but things have gone a little bit quiet on that front. In terms of fixed costs, again, yeah, agree with you there. There's a lot to do to get to the rollout of fixed costs, and if they don't get moving soon on it, you would suspect it easily goes into the latter parts of 2023.
Which in a way is outrageous when you think that Sir Rupert Jackson delivered proposals on 31st of July 2017.
Yeah. And first mentioned in his report all those years ago, where he said,
absolutely. But I worked with him on the fixed cost project, and he was, against the clock, and he was working flat out, and then he delivers, and then nobody does anything. Yeah.
And obviously, hopefully, we're going to have some kind of webinar with Lord Justice Jackson at some point, which would be fascinating to see what he feels about the reforms and how they've all bedded in.
Yeah, well, 8 years on, it's a good opportunity to take stock, isn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to that. So just go back to your question, Dominic. So what do I see as a big development this year? I think damages-based agreements. Following the case of Zaberian Lex Law, obviously termination clauses are now perfectly acceptable. There's been a slow take-up on DBAs since they were introduced. I think a big reason for that is because of the termination issue. That's now fallen away, so that's great for for litigators, but particularly commercial litigators, because that's where I see those agreements designed for. And obviously the case slightly opens the door, I think, for hybrid DBAs. We don't have anywhere what says you can do them yet. The case touches on it. It gives an indication that you can do them, but by no means there's nowhere that says you definitely can do them. So,
no, and indeed, one judge thought actually you couldn't. So it's a very uneven position at the moment.
Yeah. So there was some support in the judgment, and obviously some and a lack of support.
Sure.
But look, I think that door has been opened, and I would suspect some firms will test the water this year, maybe going into next year, in terms of seeing if the Court of Appeal will properly endorse hybrid DBA. So that's the big development for me this year going into next.
Right. And what about, I mean, in terms of Clarion and work, I mean, there was the Chamber's top ranking last year. Has that made a difference?
It's made a real difference. Obviously, we're delighted to get ranked in Band 1 in Chambers. A lot of hard work has gone into that. So, real credit to the team. We've had lots of new inquiries, lots of new work coming from it. A lot of work from the London marketplace.
Well,
so law firms based down there. I think coming to a Leeds-based law firm, obviously Clarion, because the quality is here, the service is here. But obviously the price is more affordable than buying in the city.
Because you don't have city overheads, which are horrific.
So we're busy. So that's resulted in increasing work. But generally we're busy. We had a slight slowdown after the effects of COVID. Like everyone had to get used to working at home, and the court system had to get used to remote working properly. But it's working well now. So growing. We've just recruited 3 new people for the team. So Dan Murray joined us last week. He's an experienced costs lawyer, will be helping us with cost management and detailed assessments. And then we've just recruited 2 junior paralegals to our court of protection costs team, and hopefully they'll join at the start of March. So we're going to be a team of 25 soon. So
that's a big team.
A really big team. So things are good.
Excellent. Oh, good. All right, that's a flying start, isn't it?
It is. Well, look, Dominic, thanks for joining me this afternoon. Really enjoyed it. Again, delighted to have you on board and working with us. I think you're really, really going to be a huge benefit for us this year and beyond. And obviously, this is the first of a few kind of podcasts like this we're going to be doing.
And regularly, yes.
Yeah, doing some more with me and other members of the team. So if anyone who's watched this, and I'm sure you've enjoyed it, there'll be more to come. So thanks again, Dominic.
Pleasure.
See you soon.
Thank you.